Welcome to the video lecture series, lecture number 9 on soil mechanics. In this lecture, we are going to discuss the identification and classification of soil particles. So there are several soil particles we have been discussing so far. Coarse-grained soils, fine-grained soils. How to identify, how to see whether this soil, okay, this belongs to coarse-grained soil, this soil belongs to fine-grained category. How do we identify that? See, for the identification of coarse-grained soils, there is no good technical tests are there. Just by seeing the soil, you can identify this is sand, this is gravel. All the gravels near the ballast near the railway station is an example of coarse-grained soil only. Yes. So for coarse-grained soils, there are no good technical tests. Just by the visual means through vision, by eyes. Just by seeing through the eyes, you can visualize this soil belongs to gravel, coarse-grained category, like that. But how do you visualize the soil for fine-grained soils like silt and clay? Hence, for the visual examination of fine-grained soils is not possible. Why? Because the behavior of fine-grained soils keep on changing. Why the behavior of fine-grained soils keep on changing? Because the behavior of fine-grained soils changes because they are formed from the chemical environment, chemical weathering. As the formation itself is due to chemical weathering, there is a plasticity inside them. This plasticity property is there, stickiness property is there in case of fine-grained soils. Hence, how to identify these fine-grained soils like silt and clay? So these are the best examples for fine-grained soils. So how do you identify silt and clay? It is not just by seeing, okay, this is silty soil, this is clay soil, like that. After your graduation, you will become a geotechnical engineer, consulting geotechnical engineer. Then you will ask, then your seniors will ask, how do you identify the silt and the clay? Then what should be our response? So there are some technical field tests. Field tests. First one is dry strength test. Dry strength test. Second test is dilatancy test. Dilatancy test. Third test is plasticity test. Plasticity test. And fourth test is dispersion test. Fourth test is dispersion test. Again, we have to note that all these tests are only used for in the case of fine-grained soils examination only. How to examine, how to observe the fine-grained soils. Because coarse-grained soils can be easily seen. Just through your naked eyes, you can determine the quality or nature of the soil. But to determine the behavior of fine-grained soils, we require these typical four tests. Okay, let us start with first dry strength test. What is dry strength? Already in our previous video we have discussed strength means ability to resist the stress. Suppose 10 kN load on falling on me, I can resist. If more than 10 kN load is falling on me, I cannot resist. Means the capacity is only 10 kN. So strength is ability to resist the stress. So dry strength test. Take a soil sample. Take a soil sample and dry it. Either by natural drying or by oven drying. How can we dry a soil sample? A wet soil sample can be dried either by placing in the oven or by keeping in the sunlight also we can dry the soil sample. So a soil sample, wet soil sample can be dried either by sunlight or through oven drying. Okay, take the soil sample. Then how do you determine the strength of the soil sample? To determine the strength of the soil sample, just what you do is, you apply the pressure. You take the dry soil sample in your hand and apply the pressure between the fingers. Like this. If the soil cannot be broken easily, then it is having higher strength. If the soil can easily be broken between your fingers, then the soil is having low strength. If soil breaks with the application of considerable amount of pressure, if you apply little pressure is required to break the soil, means breaking the soil pad into powder form. So if little pressure is applied on the soil, then it will be broken. Then it is called soil of medium strength. Soil of low strength soil of medium strength and soil of high strength. We can determine like this. This strength test is more applicable in case of clay soils only. A dry inorganic clay has higher strength, high dry strength test. So in order to identify whether the clay soil is of low strength, medium strength, high strength, this is the test that is used in the field technically. So they will ask, how do you determine? Like this we will determine. We take the wet soil sample and we allow it in the oven dry or by natural drying. After drying, we take the soil into our hand. If considerable on application of considerable amount of pressure it breaks, that means it is having medium strength. If it breaks only very loosely, it is breaking, just by touch it is breaking, then it is having low strength. If it cannot be broken at all, then it is having higher amount of dry strength. A dry inorganic clay has higher dry shear strength. That we see later. In shear strength chapter of clays. Next test is dilatancy test. Dilation means change in the volume. So let us say this is the material. Change in the volume. So how does the change occur in the soil? Let us say this is the soil mass. How does the change occur in the soil? Upon addition of water. Yes, you add water to a soil sample. Okay, I take a water, add water. Then what is behavior of the soil? A dry soil sample, when water is added, becomes wet, very soft. Okay, there is a soft soil sample. Then take this soft soil sample into your hand, like this. I took the soft soil sample in my hand and place it in horizontal position like this. Then you strike the soil sample with other hand, like this. I am striking. What is this soil sample? Wet soil sample. Again I remind you, this is a wet soil sample, not dry. This is wet, means you added water. Okay, shaking, you are shaking with other hand. You are applying pressure like this. If a shiny texture, shiny surface is observed on the soil, like this you are shaking in the horizontal position you have placed. Shake with other hand. Okay, shaking. If shiny film like observed on the soil sample, then the soil is said to be silty soil. Silty soil. Presence of silt. Presence of silt indicates a shiny film on the surface of the soil. Shiny. You can remember like this. Silt and shiny. Yes. Next is plasticity test. What is plasticity test? Again, we have already studied the plasticity index. Liquid limit minus plastic limit. So what is plasticity? It is nearness of the soil to plastic limit only. So I already studied the determination of plastic limit in the laboratory. Now plasticity test. Again take the soil sample, add water and make the soil into 3 mm threads. 3 mm thread. Just like. If you can make 3 mm thread of the soil sample and rub it with your fingers, then it is said to be clay soil. Only 3 mm threads are possible in case of clay soil. In case of silty soil, you cannot make 3 mm thread. It is difficult to make. Even though you make, it breaks very easily between your fingers. Hence, for the plasticity test is applicable for clay soils only. 3 mm threads can be made only for clay soil. You cannot make 3 mm thread for silty soils. No, it is not possible. Last is dispersion test. So this dispersion test again categorizes, differentiates coarse grained soils as well as for fine grained soils. This dispersion test is similar to jar test that we do in environmental engineering laboratory. So you take a 15 centimeter jar like this. 15 centimeter means a short scale, this scale measurement. 15 centimeter short scale, like this. It is filled with water. is filled completely with water. Okay. Now you pour sand into this jar. Now you pour sand into this. Sand settles easily within 30 seconds. Sand settles easily in the jar within 30 seconds. Silt. Silt takes 20 to 30 minutes time to settle. Clay. If the soil is a clay soil, it takes days, hours or days. It may take some days also, because the clay soil will remain in suspension in water for a very long time. That is the property of the clay soil we will see in the next chapter of compression and consolidation chapters. So clay soil will remain in suspension for a very long period. Means when water is attached to the clay soil, we already discussed with clay soil. Already the clay soil is having water inside it. That is adsorbed water, the layer that is adsorbed on the surface of the clay. When this soil sample itself is again in water, you observe the settlement of clay. It is very late. When you apply heavy loading inside the clay, it may cause several problems. That is what compressibility indicates. So, these are the tests required to differentiate fine-grained soils and coarse-grained soils. This dispersion test, this is called a dispersion test. It divides, it segregates coarse-grained soils and fine-grained soils. So, these are the typical field tests that are mainly used to differentiate coarse-grained soils and fine-grained soils in the field. Okay, these are the tests. Now, how do you classify a soil? Okay, how do you classify the students in the Narayana and Chaitanya colleges? What they do? Students FTB batch, there is fast track batch. Students who qualified JEE examination, they conduct typical examination JEE, and students who qualified examination, all the candidates are entered into FTB batch. They will enter separate batch for toppers. Top 100 candidates in JEE examination they will conduct. All they go into FTB batch, fast track batch. They are very talented, super talented students. Again, below 100 rank, they will be divided into another batch. Below 100 rank, another batch. Divided. So this is the process of classification of students in the colleges or in the premier institutes or universities. In some colleges, how do you classify the students? Okay, based on their initials. A Harish, let us say. A students from A to G, one category, and H to Z, they belong to another category. Like that, they categories. In some colleges, they are classified based on the roll numbers. Roll number 1, 2, 3, like that. So this is a process how they classify the students in the colleges, universities, and engineering institutions. But how can we classify a soil? Only soil, okay, this is coarse-grained soil, this is fine-grained soil. Is this enough? No. Classifying a soil doesn't mean just giving name to the soil. Okay, I gave this name to the soil. That soil classification should be very easy. It should not be very complicated. Just by seeing the group, the soil should be classified into several groups. Okay, all these groups belong to same behavior. All FTB candidates, same behavior. More marks. Less marks, all these belong to same behavior, same initial. Like that, proper similar category. Soils that are belonging to similar category are classified as one type. Soils that are another category, another type. So, is this the only means we can think it of to classify a soil? Okay, then another what is we can see? Soils having similar properties, having same index properties, same engineering properties belong to one category. Like this, several research has been went in the previous days. So this is before 1945, before 1942, before World War II, this was happened. They are thinking, scientists are thinking how to classify the soils. So they are thinking like that. Later, what happened is, one MIT professor, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, this is in USA. This is the topmost premier institute in a whole entire country. World rankings, you can say first rank you can give to that institute. University of California, like that, this university, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, is the premier engineering institute in the entire world. So one professor named Gilboy, his name is Gilboy. He developed one strategy, one principle to classify the soil. He is very talented professor. This institute itself, only we can enter this admission if our rank is 1 to 50 only. In JEE examination, you can go for engineering in this MIT. So this is very premier institute, world class institute. So this Gilboy professor, he classified the soils first time. How he classified? Gravel, sand, silt, clay. So this was the order of decreasing size of the particle. Particle size of gravel is more. Particle size of sand is typically less than gravel. Silt still less than sand. Clay particle size is very very small, colloidal particle. So this was the particle size that was taken into account to classify the soil. What Mr. Gilboy sir did? He classified the soils based on the particle size only. He does not take into account any other characteristic of the soil. Here only particle size is the criteria. This classification of the soil based on the particle size done by Professor Gilboy in Massachusetts Institute of Technology, USA is called MIT classification. This is called MIT classification of soil. This was first time. At that time, nobody classified the soil. He is the only scientist. He was the only engineer to classify the soil. How he did dimensions? Greater than 2 mm. Gravel, more size, greater than 2 mm. Sand, 2 to 0.06. Decreasing order of size, 0.06 to 0.002 mm. Clay, less than 0.02 mm. So this was the classification of soil done by Professor Gilboy in Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He said, how you can remember like this 0.06, how we remember? Dear friends, no need to remember anything. Only remember the word numbers 2 and 6, that's all. The work goes very simple. Only numericals 2 and 6 were used in the classification. Very intelligent institute, very premier institute. Hence, they remembered only 2 numericals, 2 and 6. That's all. With this, the classification was done. Over. So, this classification is called MIT classification of soil. So, what is the consideration to classify the soil? Only particle size was taken into account. No other characteristics were taken into account. Just based on the particle size, the MIT classification was done. Later, AASHTO classification, AASHTO, AASHTO classification. AASHTO means American Association of State Highway Transport Research Organization. This is the meaning of AASHTO. American Association of State Highway Transport Research Organization. AASHTO means. So these American institutes, American Association of State Highway, for highway designing of American roads. Highway means transportation. So to design the highway roads and this roads criteria, they classified the soil. How they classified? So all the American researchers sit at a place and they are thinking how to classify the soil based on this system. In this system, with particle size, they also taken plasticity into account. Both particle size and plasticity were taken into account. See, particle size is used for classifying coarse-grained soils. Already we have seen. Plasticity is the term used for fine-grained soils. Means in AASTO classification, both particle size and plasticity were taken into account. This is for coarse-grained soils, this is for fine-grained soils. They are satisfying both the things. Earlier in MIT system, only particle size was taken into account. But in this classification, they are taking both into account. Because this was an improvement after the MIT classification. This was after MIT classification. That's why they added plasticity characters also. Because fine-grained soils, particle size is not applicable for them. Since why? The behavior of fine-grained soils keep on changing with change in water content. As the water content influences fine-grained soils, plasticity is applicable only for fine-grained soils. Okay, particle size and plasticity were taken into account in American system. What are the other things they have been to classify? They have taken soils that are passing through 75 micron sieve. Soils that are passing through 75 micron sieve. What we call 75 micron sieve? Their number 200 mm sieve. 200 mm sieve. Number 200 they give. So not mm, only number 200 sieve. So they are considering the soil that is passing through 75 micron sieve to classify the soil based on the AASTO system. What other parameters they are considering to classify? They are also considering liquid limit. They are also considering plastic limit. They are also considering plasticity index IP, WL minus WP. So these are the things that they have been considered to classify the soil based on AASTO system. All American highway researchers, they are sitting and thinking like this. Okay, we classify the soil, liquid limit, plastic index. Later what they observed? They observed a parameter called group index. Group index. What is this group index? So this group index is a technical term. Means based on the soils passing through 75 micron and liquid limit, plastic limit and a plasticity index. Based on all this group index was coined. So this group index depends upon percentage of the liquid limit, plastic limit and plasticity index. So this group index was the property of the highway subgrade soil. This group index is the property of the highway soil. They divided soil into several groups and they made several indexes. See, the name itself gives some idea. If you have no idea about group index, don't worry. Just bifurcate the term, segregate the term. Group index. All the soils that are belonging to one group having similar index properties. Like that. The name itself gives some idea about it. If you have anything in the universe, the name itself gives idea about that thing. So the soils that are belonging to, they divided the soil into several groups. Like A1 to A7. A1 to A7. Since it is America, they give A. Why they give A? Some people will ask, sir, why they will give A? This is American classification, they are giving A. So A1 to A7, 7 subgroups inside the soil mass. Another subgroup is A8. This is for highly organic soil. For highly organic soil, they classified like this. What is AASTO system of classification? They classified the soil into various subgroups, A1 to A7, and A8 they divided for highly organic soil. So this is the criteria. What is group index? It is the technical term that is coined by AASTO researchers based on the amount of soil that is passing through 75 micron sieve, liquid limit, plastic limit and plasticity index. So this is the group index. Later what they give? They are thinking and they design an empirical formula. What is empirical formula? The formula that is derived through several experiments is called empirical formula. They gave one empirical formula to calculate the group index value of the soil. Group index value of the soil is equal to 0.2A plus 0.005 AC plus 0.01 BD. What is this A, B, C and D? That's what I told. Just this is an empirical formula based on the experiments. They are experimenting on the soil mass. So what A they told? A is the amount of soil that is passing through 75 micron sieve, not exceeding 35. And the whole value of A must not exceed 75. That's what they designed like this. What is B? Percentage of soil passing through 75 micron sieve, not exceeding 15. Whole value not exceeding 55. Whole value not exceeding 55. What is C? C is that percentage of liquid limit not greater than 40. That percentage of liquid limit greater than 40, not exceeding how much? 60. What is D? That part of plasticity index exceeding 10. Whole value should not exceed 30. So this value they gave for group index. Soil having higher group index is the poor soil for pavement design. When you study transportation engineering, you have to, when you research on transportation engineering, you have to study geotechnical aspects of transportation engineering also. There are several books. The title of the book is Geotechnical Aspects of Transportation Engineering. This is a wonderful book. You can study. Even this book is for free download. You can Google. Why I am saying this about this book is, before you go to transportation design also, because all the buses, cars, everything that are moving on the soil mass only. If the soil is not strong, if you do not know the properties of the subgrade soil, then there is no question of transportation engineering at all. All the transportation is based on the soil. Not only transportation, structures. Any structure, let us say, it rests on the soil only. If you don't know the property of soil, why we started this session only with soil mechanics? The reason is this. Any subject you see linked with soil, our life is linked with soil. We are born on the earth. So everything based on the soil. We eat whatever that is there on the earth only. Everything is plants. We eat in plants. So the soil importance you see. This is the importance of soil engineering. Even for transportation engineering also, soil is the base. For structural engineering, soil is the base. For RCC, soil is the base. For steel structures also, soil is the base. For water resources also, we study soil. So whatever the subject you see in civil engineering, soil engineering comes into picture. So this is the heart of the civil engineering, we can say. So this is the classification that we are seeing. F is percentage of fines. See, fine means that is passing only. Fine powder means powder can easily pass. Percentage of fines 75 microns that are passing through 75 microns. That is the designation of F. So like this we have classified. So they gave limitations like this. This number should not lie in between 1 to 40. This also 1 to 40. This 1 to 20. This 1 to 20. So they divided soil like this. 1 to 40, 1 to 40, 1 to 20, 1 to 20. So this is the AASHTO system of classification. Again I repeat, group index is the parameter used to identify the soil material, whether it is used for subgrade or it cannot be used for subgrade. Soil having higher group index is the poor soil for pavement design. Soil having less group index is the best soil for pavement design. Soils are divided into A1 to A7 groups. Higher group index, poor soil for pavement design. Less group index, best soil for pavement design. So this is for pavement design. Later, what Indian Road Congress, this is, you observe here carefully, American Association of State Highway Transport Research Organization. Later there is again a classification called HRB classification, Highway Research Board. Highway Research Board. Highway Research Board. This group index classification you observe, that is we observed in 1945 this was done, before independence. Later in Highway Research Board, this is used for Indian Road Congress, IRC. Indian Road Congress meetings. All IRC meetings were held in 1973. And later what we did is, why to again classify more? Already they done more research. Just to take it and modify it, that's all. So Indian Road Congress also gave empirical formula same only. There is no change, 0.2a plus 0.005 AC plus 0.01 BD. Only difference is just change the numericals, that's all. 0 to 20, 0 to 20, that's all. This is the modification of AASHTO system that we adopted in our highway engineering. Indian Road Congress in 1973. We took it as granted just. But people will see what they are stealing things from us. So just modify 0, 0, 0. That's all. Since this Indian Road Congress adopted the group index terminology from AASHTO classification system, this group index is very important when you prepare for Indian Engineering Services examination. For GATE, this will not be useful at all. Why? GATE is not memory oriented exam. This is based on out of memory only. You have to remember what is 35, 15, 40, 10. If you don't remember, your question goes wrong. Since engineering services is it is mixed examination, both objective as well as subjective, both memory based as well as technical based. Hence, in Indian Engineering Services examination only, this was very useful. But concept is important for GATE exam. So what we discussed is this group index terminology. So group index is used to determine the performance of the soil within its own group. So what we did is, we divided into subgroups. We are very intelligent fellows. A1 to A7. This is divided into 4 subgroups. This is divided into 3 subgroups. Like that we have divided the soil into 3 subgroups and changed the numericals, that's 0 to 20, 0 to 40. Like that. So for IES it is very important. For GATE, concept is important. GATE people you need to remember the numerical formula, but remember the formula, it will be useful for several other examinations such as PSV examination, other examinations. Okay, later, after this AASHTO system, there came another classification system, Unified Soil Classification System. Unified Soil Classification System. This is called USCS. USCS, Unified Soil Classification System. So after this AASHTO system, Unified Soil Classification System is observed. The key person to classify the soils here is Casagrande. Already we see liquid limit. Whenever in the determination of liquid limit we have seen Casagrande. Arthur Casagrande is the key person in this Unified Soil Classification System. So what is the key characteristic in the classification is, both particle size and plasticity characters were taken into account. Both particle size and the plasticity characters of the soil were taken into account in this system. Okay. Already in the ASTRO system also, sir, you told CN is taken. Okay, wait and let us wait. In this unified classification system, what is the beauty of this system is, you need not remember there A1, A2, A3, no need at all. This was a modified version of ASTRO system. In this, soils belonging to one particular category are taken into one group. Like, so in this category what we observed is coarse grained soils. What is coarse grained soil? If more than 50% of the soil mass material passes through, retains on 75 microns U, then you call the soil as coarse grained soil. Okay. Again, coarse grained soil is divided into gravel and sand. What is gravel? If more than 50% of the soil retains on 4.75 mmSu, it is called gravel. Deciding criteria for gravel is 4.75 mmSu. Next, sand. If more than 50% of the coarse fraction passes, fine means it pass, sand, it should pass through 4.75 mmSu, then it is sand. This is the criteria for dividing gravel and sand. Next, fine grained soils. Fine grained soils. So this was the classification for coarse grained soils. How do you classify the fine grained soils? Since the behavior of fine grained soils changes with change in water content, we say if liquid limit is less than 50%, then the soil is low compressible soil. The compressibility characters are very, very low compressible. Liquid limit greater than 50%, highly compressible soil. So based on the liquid limit, we have classified the soil for fine grained soils. Just later what they did is, Arthur Casagrande developed one graph. Arthur Casagrande developed one chart. This chart is called plasticity chart. This chart is called plasticity chart. This is water content, means liquid limit it is. Liquid limit and plasticity index. So based on liquid limit and plasticity index, Arthur Casagrande developed this chart. This is 20 liquid limit, and this line is called A line. Why this line is called A line? Because Arthur Casagrande developed this chart. Hence he put his name. If you develop your chart, put your name. He developed, hence it is A line. He gave one equation to this line. 0.73 into liquid limit minus 20. This liquid limit is in percentage. This is the formula to determine the equation of the A line. How he gave this equation? Based on the experiments. Okay, fine. Very good. So A line is used. What he gave another property is, this A line separates coarse grained soils and fine grained soils. Coarse grained soils, there is no question of this liquid limit at all. Hence you forget about them. Only for fine grained soils it is useful. Okay. Liquid limit less than 50%, low compressible. Hence drop a line at 50. 20, 30, 40, 50. Highly compressible. Liquid limit greater than 50. Highly compressible. H. Highly compressible. Liquid limit less than 50. Low compressible. High compressible. Like this. What he said is, Arthur Casagrande, all the clay soils lie above the A line. Cl, Ch. This unified soil classification system is US only. It was developed after World War II. Casagrande developed this. All the soils below the A line are silts and organic soils. Organic soils. So since silt and organic soils are the only fine grained soils after clay, they lie below the A line. Silt, they denote it by M. ML. Silt. MH. Highly compressible silt, low compressible silt. Low compressible clay, highly compressible clay. So this is the terminology. This chart is called plasticity chart. This plasticity chart was developed by Arthur Casagrande in order to classify fine grained soils based on the A line. All soils above A line, clay soils only. Below A line, silts and organic soils. So OL, organic, low compressible organic soil, high compressible organic soil. This was the terminology. Later, if the plasticity index of the soil lies in between 4 to 7, then they gave CLML group. This group is called CLML group. Later you will understand, just for reference take like this, CLML group. This is US classification, not Indian classification. This is Unified Soil Classification System in America. So you see here, for better understanding, we will draw a table so that you can understand better. Coarse grained soils greater than 50% retained on greater than 50% retained on 75 micron C. This is coarse grained soil. Again they divided into gravel and sand. Okay, gravel and sand. This is the division. Gravels, again, clean gravels, clean gravels, clean gravels, well graded gravel. This is the terminology we use. Well graded gravel. W refers well graded gravel. GP, poorly graded gravel. These are called clean gravels. You see, observe the term. Clean means without any fines. Clean gravel means without fines. Okay, well graded gravel, what is the criteria we have studied? In particle size distribution curve, CU, coefficient of uniformity, is greater than 4 and CC lies in between 1 and 3. CC lies in between 1 and 3. What is poorly graded gravel? Not meeting the above criteria. If the soil does not meet this well graded, it must be poorly graded only. Not meeting above criteria. Not meeting the above criteria. Okay, this is the clean gravel without fines. Means, now you see, gravels with fines. Gravels with fines. With fines means see, always silt and clay, that's all. What are fines? Silt and clay. Gravels with fines, okay. Silt and clay. Gravel. This is gravel. See, GM represents silty gravel. We have to study from like this, from here to here. Silty gravel. Gravel consisting a significant proportion of silt in it is known as silty gravel. Gravel consisting significant portion of clay in it is called clayey gravel. What are silts and clays? These are nothing but fines. Hence, gravels with fines, GM and GC. Okay, what is the criteria to classify this? Atterberg limits lie below A line. All silty soils below A line only we have studied just now. Plasticity index less than 4. What is clayey gravel? Atterberg limits lie above A line. Above A line with plasticity index greater than 7. Greater than 7. Clay means greater than 7. In the higher portion clay is there. In the above chart we have seen. Okay, this is for classification of coarse grained soils, clean gravels without fines, well graded gravel, poorly graded gravel, silty gravel, clayey gravel. These are 4 groups of coarse grained soils were there. Where this is Unified Soil Classification System, USCS. Remember this, don't forget. Next, fine grained soils. Fine grained soils. What are fine grained soils? More than clay, like clean gravel with fines. Silts and clay itself are fine grained soils. How to differentiate? Means compressibility based on the liquid limit. So highly compressible silt, low compressible silt. Like that we differentiate the soils. See here. So in fine grained soils we encounter 3 things. What are 3 things? Silt is a fine grained soil, yes. Clay is a fine grained soil, yes. Organic soils are also coming under the fine grained soil criteria only. That's what we have seen in the beginning of this lecture. So these are the 3 parameters. Low, here L means liquid limit less than 50%. Low compressibility, low plasticity character. Low plasticity characters. Low plasticity, L means low plasticity. Low plastic silt, low plastic clay, less plastic organic soil. See, silt of low plasticity. This is silt of low plasticity. Clay of low plasticity. Organic soil of low plasticity. This clay soil is of low to medium plasticity. And this is organic soil of low plasticity. Silty soil of low plasticity. Here M means Mo. They given a symbol for silt like this, M. MHO, Mo means silt. That they gave one classification to classify the silt. So this is liquid limit less than 50%. Okay. If liquid limit exceeds 50%, it is highly plastic soil. Okay, what are the groups? Highly plastic silt, highly plastic clay, highly plastic organic soil. How to classify? Like this, there is no separate criteria for them, for fine grained soils. So they are based on the plasticity chart. Okay. Next, highly organic soil. Okay, highly organic soil we call H. These are peat and other organic soils. Okay, gravels we have seen. Similarly, sands also exhibit same nature since sand is a coarse grained soil. Gravel with fine. You observe here, sands also I will write here, just here. Sands also I will adjust here. I forgot to write sand. Sands. Sands without fines. Same criteria like this. Sands without fines. SW and SP. Well graded sand and poorly graded sand. Sand is said to be well graded when quotient of uniformity exceeds 6. Quotient of uniformity exceeds 6. Otherwise it is poorly graded. Next, sands with fines. Sands with fines. SM. Silty sand, SC, clayey sand. Similarly, Atterberg limits, silt. For silt, Atterberg limits lie below the A line. For clay, Atterberg limits lie above the A line. IP less than 4 for silty sand. IP greater than 7 for clayey sand. So, how many groups of classification for US soil? All coarse-grained soils are classified into how many groups? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 groups of coarse-grained soils. Okay, 8 groups of coarse-grained soils plus well-graded gravel 1, poorly graded gravel, silty gravel, clayey gravel 4 groups. After well-graded sand, poorly graded sand, silty sand, clayey sand, another 4 groups. 4 groups of gravels plus 4 groups of sands come under 8 groups of coarse-grained soils. Eight groups of coarse-grained soils. Fine-grained soils, see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 groups of fine-grained soils plus 1 group of highly organic soil. So how many groups? 8 plus 6, 14. 14 plus 1, 15. 15 groups of soils. Where? Not in India. It is in America, US soil classification system. So you give an objective question, we will get an exam. How many groups of soils were classified in unified soil classification system? Means 15 groups of soils. Sir, why you are teaching more about America? This is India. You are not saying about Indian classification system. My dear brothers and sisters, don't worry about Indian classification system. Indian classification just we are modifying with small integer values in US system. That's why US system is more popular. If you learn this Indian system, 18 groups, that's 15 groups plus 3. That is more interesting. We will discuss that in next section. So this is the main objective question you can get. How many groups of classification? 15 groups. Very important. Whatever we have discussed today, the entire session is very important. Please, if you cannot understand, just bifurcate, pause the video and once again see, because terminology is difficult to some people. But I explained very clearly. No need of explaining again. Okay, this was the end of the session. Meet you in the next lesson. But